Welcome to Nameless Debate Radio, where radioactivity is contagious.
Hello, guys. I am King Tan, and I am a theocrat. I am standing by the position that theocracy should be allowed.
Okay, Nana Scholar, and my position is that religion should be divorced from law and governance because there's more than one religion, and that's likely to cause issues.
Okay. So, theocracy still is practiced today, and I could say currently in certain situations in certain countries, it doesn't work well. For example, in Iran, while it's dictated by Ali Khamenei, it's not working out very well. And I can also understand the position of places like Saudi Arabia, where it's like they have a king who is actually controlled by the Salafis, why it's not working out. So I can understand your understanding. I can understand that you're stressed about this, but it has worked previously, as we see with the Ottoman Empire and the Islamic Golden Age. Now, the places where it's actually worked is where there is only
one religion.
Only one religion. But that religion.
That's kind of exactly my point, though.
Okay, yeah. So here's the thing. Other religions don't actually have a understanding on theocracy.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. Like, my point is that, like,
they don't exist.
You mentioned that Zionism, like, creates issues because of your beliefs, whereas, like, if we
not my beliefs. It creates. Wait. Let's clarify. Zionism creates issues of everyone's beliefs. Even Jews are against Zionism. They're literally like the ISIS of Judaism.
Okay, but it causes issues for other religions, right? Though
they cause issues
but in general, it does also cause issues for other religions.
Okay, it causes issues for religions as well, but we need to clarify it causes religion like the entire freedom of people.
Okay, but like if you instantiate laws based on the beliefs of a religious system, then that won't necessarily align with other religious systems, and so they'll always be like the laws will always be at odds with at least one group if it's not entirely divorced from religion.
Okay. So repeat yourself then again.
Okay, so if, for example, the laws were based in, like, say, Hinduism or some other religion, but then it was missing out on, like, important beliefs that, say, for example, like a Christian would hold. If they are conflicting, if the laws are written in a way that could conflict with your beliefs because they are attached to a belief themselves, it's just going to create a lot of issues. Whereas if the laws were like decided upon in a way that like suits all religions, then there'll be a lot fewer issues.
Okay, man. So here's the thing. Now I understand in today's day and age, a lot of the theocratical countries are failing dramatically, i.e. Iran, India, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and many more countries. As we know, India believe in the caste system. They're trying to get rid of it at the moment, but it's a huge problem for people down south, especially. And Iran, there's loads of immigrants from Iran now that are trying to illegally move to other countries and are failing, but also succeeding. This is causes a problem with population and stuff. But that's another discussion, an issue. But here's the thing, okay? Previously, it has worked with Islam, from my correct understanding.
Are you able to give an example of where theocracy has worked and there's been more than one religion?
Like I said, Islam's
because in the current modern like landscape, there are a lot of religions.
Very true, but here's the thing: in the modern landscape, the entire world is controlled by Zionism.
Okay.
Do you know what Zionism is?
Not in depth, no.
Okay. So you know Judaism. That's my assertion.
Yes. I know
Okay.
what Judaism is.
Okay. Can you clarify what Judaism is for me, please?
It is the religious belief system of the Jewish people.
Okay. Can you give me specific Messiah they believe in?
I don't know. Don't they believe in Jesus? I don't know. I don't know anything about like specific religions, my dude.
Okay. They believe in they believe in Moses, not Jesus. That's Christians.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah. That's
why the Christians and the Jews differ. Otherwise, they'd be practically the same. Now here's the thing.
And the Christians also like a big fan of the New Testament, whereas
the Jews only take the first 5 parts of the Old Testament as true. That's called Torah. And then they have the Talmud. That's basically like context for the Torah, where it has many controversial things. But I'm not going to get into that. Now, Zionism is basically an understanding where the Promised Land, which is Israel, should belong only to the Jews and to them only, and that anyone who wants to go into the land should be under their lead. Now, there's a huge problem with this historically, and religiously and politically. Now, originally it belonged to the Jews. That is correct. Then what happened is that the Jews then kind of immigrated to other countries like England and Germany and other countries. Primarily Germany. I've skipped a lot of eras, by the way. So let's skip a load of eras. We've come to Germany. They are primarily populated in Germany. Now, here's the interesting thing. Israel is now no longer a Jewish country. It's now a Muslim country because of the Ottoman Empire and stuff and whatnot. Now, what happens is that when Adolf Hitler commits suicide, the British realized there's nowhere to place the Jews, and so the only way to place them is in Israel. So they place them in Israel, and then the Jews then claim it's their country and had a war with the Muslims. Skipping a few years later, they have a war with the Muslims, and the Muslims lose on like 2 or 3 occasions. And so the land then belongs to them. But here's the problem. The problem is that if the country belonged to the Muslims and the Jews were put there by the British, how is it their country? It still belongs to the Muslims, right?
How does that relate to
we're about to get onto that. We're about to get onto that.
Okay.
So that's how that happens. And so then now there's a problem between Palestine and Israel. And so there was a type of understanding of Judaism arise called Zionism. It was already 1897, but it got even more promoted when this happened, and basically Zionism was promoted, and the idealistic beliefs was that the Israel should belong to them and only to them. Now, here's the problem. Zionism is essentially controlling the media, the banks, interest, everything. Even if you have a shit and you flush your toilet, the money literally goes to the Zionists. The Zionists are controlling everything, and they show what they want to show. They won't give a unbiased opinion. They'll only give a biased opinion. And this is how many things that I disagree with have been promoted. For example, things like interest. Interest has been heavily promoted since Zionism has been in control. And in Islam, it's against religion to actually do interest. But here's the point: when you're saying how does theocracy work? Well, the thing is, how is today's society working? It's controlled by Zionists, and as you can see, it's failing. But according to you, it's working.
I never said that, actually. My position would also be against the Zionists because I'm arguing for secularism.
But they claim.
Let me.
Now here's the problem. Okay.
Can I try and highlight the issue that has caused me to lean towards secularism?
Sure, man.
So, like, you gave examples of like beliefs that the Zionists hold that have now been put into law, essentially, and that causes issue for people who hold your faith, right? Now,
Yeah.
like we have several communities in Australia that have popped up that are themselves instantiating Sharia law, and the people that live there, like, they can't really do much about it, and even if they don't agree with the laws, right? But because they're not actual laws, like, they're not being enforced, which is why it's not a huge issue, even though it is becoming an issue. And like that's where the majority issues arise, right? Is when like you have some beliefs enforced by law that relate to one specific religion but could contradict another. And so if you divorce the laws and the governance from all systems of religion, then you can find a set of rules and guidelines that suit all of the religions, or at least try to as much as possible.
So I'm asking, where do you get morals from? Like, what was the origin of morals, ethics, and code of conduct, and all that?
Originally, it came from religion, but since then we've been developing a source of morals divorced from religion.
So it came from religion. Now,
originally. That doesn't have to be the source, though.
But here's the thing: if you believe in secularism, now there's a huge problem. You believe in theocrats because all the morals you're taken from comes from religion.
Okay, what about the like ancient Greek civilizations and stuff that were like obsessed with things like philosophy and ethics? Like they had their sort of
but the Greeks took that from religion.
Did they?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they built their belief system around
people like Hippocrates and everything. Okay, their understanding originally came from religion, and they were still religious people. They just believed in several gods.
Yeah, but the religion evolved as a result of their society to an extent. Like the stories and stuff, like that wasn't what came first. That was how they would like give examples of why moral things should be moral or immoral. Like,
but the way they got their morals is from religion.
Is it?
Yes. Because you just said to me the origin of religion, and so the way they even came to know morals was from religion. You just stated it yourself.
No, but where do you think the religion got morals from? The religion got their morals from the implicit sort of rules that the society was.
No, I can give you an answer. It came from Allah, who gave it to Adam alayhi salam, who gave it to Saleh.
So like, but there were so many other civilizations that existed at the time, and they all had their own laws, and they all had their own moral code. In general, the laws were based on like what it was originally was that there were a set of rules that were implicitly enforced, but were not explicit. And so once people started to identify the consistency between what is and isn't acceptable, that's how they started to develop morality.
Okay. Morality, from a religious point of view, comes from Cain being killed from Abel. Abel being killed from Cain. And this is where morality comes from, because this is the first time death occurred in Islam. A murder, should I say. And so from then, God basically showed us how to live our lives and what morals are. Now, in terms of an atheistic point of view, you believe in evolution, which I don't really want to get into it. So can we both just agree to like one historical era that's like the earliest we can go? So what historical era can we go to that's the earliest?
Well, I don't think that's really like an accurate representation, because like there have been several different moral systems, and they've all developed independently.
Here's the thing: you're going to the idea that we all went to different colonies, whereas I'm going to be arguing, well, no, it all came from one man.
I don't think that was the first time that morality existed. I think that there's always been some sense of morality. It's just that it was not made explicit until much later. Like people people knew, like, I don't really want to kill people because then they'll probably want to kill me. Like, it was not a law. It was just sort of like an unspoken agreement. And that occurred with a lot of things. Like, if I steal people's shit, they'll probably steal mine. So maybe we shouldn't do that. Like, it didn't have to come from religion. Like, and a lot of places, like, had this sort of set of morals in place before they had a religion.
Okay. So, okay.
And, like, I do agree that Islam probably came up with one of the first explicit set of rules just simply because it dates back so far, but that doesn't mean that was the source of all morality in the world.
Yeah, I agree, but okay. So you made a claim before saying that all religious ideas on law invalid.
What?
Is that correct? So you believe all religious laws are invalid?
No, I just don't think that they should be enforced by a government.
Okay, why not?
I think that there should be a select few of laws that like everyone can agree on, like irrespective of their religion, and those should be the only ones that are enforced by the government.
Okay. Now
like people are more than free to follow their own set of rules given by their religion. Like they very much should be encouraged to do that, but it should not be enforced by the state.
Okay. Well, I mean,
because there's differences between religions.
So I can give you. I'm going to give you two cases over here, and I'm going to make out what's going on. Now, as we know, by the way, these are the two major times where theocracy was at like its peak. So let's go to Europe and let's look at England, okay? England was under Catholicism and was a theocratical country that was under the law of the church. And I actually brought up a person called Galen, and basically Galen was a great philosopher and physician. And he came up with ideas about how we use them, and he dissected only in animals, and so the understanding of the human body was only based off animals. And it kind of correlated with the church, and so the church accepted Galen's ideas and said no one can expand, and only we can only take Galen's ideas. No other scientists can come up with their own ideas. Now, when they went to the Islamic world was extremely great in medicine, was far ahead of them, because they took Galen's ideas, but religion didn't restrict them, rather it allowed them to go further. So that's one example of how theocrats were bad, but also, on the other hand, theocrats in Islam was working. Also, when we look at the Ottoman Empire, early Ottoman Empire, not later because it became corrupt later on, but the original Ottoman Empire worked very great with theocracy, and the empire had a good law of conduct, it had good morals, and it had good understanding, and the science was amazing. It was like out of this world, and that's one case of it working with Islam, and that was original understanding. Whereas Christianity, because it didn't actually the only source they actually had was the Bible and was objective reasoning. Now, the two and two couldn't really go together. For example, if someone got murdered in Christianity, there are ways to deal with it, but there is not a solid way of dealing with it. Whereas Islam gives loads of scenarios in hadiths, and we can apply our logic. And so, depending on the scenario, we would know what to do for that scenario.
Well, again, the reason that I think that the Ottoman Empire was successful with their implementation of theocracy was that it was the only set of laws. If you only have one set of laws and everyone agrees to them, it doesn't matter if they come from religion. Where the issue arises is when you have more than one set of laws coming from several different religions and you only try to enforce one of them. That doesn't work. So really what you should do is not enforce any of them except for the parts that they all agree on. Like, for example, don't kill people.
So now here's the thing. With Christianity, it failed even though it was one set of laws, right? Why did that fail?
What do you mean? I'm not familiar. Are you able to elaborate?
Okay, yeah, sure. Christianity in Like, when it was all Catholicism, why did that fail? And even when it became a Protestant country, it still failed.
Can you be like more specific of like when? And
Okay,
where?
well,
I'm
you
not
said
familiar.
because the Ottoman Empire had one set of laws, that's why it was successful. So I've given an example of England under one set of laws, but yet it was very corrupt. And when people had illnesses, people thought it was a punishment from God, and they went to the churches, and they weren't allowed. They were obviously bacteria was unknown at that time until Pasteur's germ theory came along, but that was later on. But the original idea, well, it was a punishment from God. They are being punished. We shouldn't help them. While they should atone for their sins, and if they die, it's their own fault. And literally,
I'm not sure how this is against secularism, to be honest.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that one side works and one side didn't.
So what you're saying is that theocracy doesn't always work.
What I'm saying is Islamic theocracy always works, but
You're saying that Islamic theocracy has been shown to work at least once. That doesn't mean it will always work.
For a very long period of time.
Yeah, but again, like times have changed. There's more than one belief system, and if you try and enforce laws that people disagree with, they're going to be fucking mad.
Do you know how long the Empire lasted for?
No.
Okay, am I allowed to tell you?
Yeah, for sure.
It was founded in 1299, the year 1200, all the way. So that's 1299, man. All the way down to 1984, around about that. Sorry, not 1984, like earlier, like I think it was post World War II. Then it ended, but it lasted that long.
So what you're saying is that when everyone can agree on the laws, it works well?
What I'm trying to say is when it's Islamic law, it works very well, but when everyone agrees onto a Christianic law, it doesn't work well.
Did they all agree there?
Yeah. Like the poor and the rich agreed. Yeah, man.
If they're all agreeing, then how can there be disagreements? Like, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, there were disagreements with the Ottoman Empire, don't
there were disagreements with the specifics, I believe. I'm not certain because I'm not like
I mean, there were disagreements.
It seems to me that
Empire, but overall, it works very well and became a very powerful empire. Like I said, the original Ottoman Empire. But however, places like countries like England with theocracy under Catholicism and Protestants fail dramatically in medicine, in terms of law, and in terms of morality and law of conduct.
I'm still not really sure how that is against secularism.
Oh, so I'm saying that secularism is literally non-existent. Like they claim it's the.
But that even if it's not implemented currently, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad idea. Like the idea is that like if you can come up with a set of rules that everyone agrees upon, there's going to be a lot less issues. And like that's what happened in your example with the Ottoman Empire. But they agreed on the laws, and so there was not many issues.
I mean, that'll be super biased.
What do you mean?
Okay, like people just do the law so it benefits them and not anyone else.
No, but that's the whole point, is that if it's detached from religion, you can come up with something that everyone can agree upon. Whereas if it has to be attached to religion, then only the people that believe in it.
Okay, can you give me an example of a law?
Will agree.
Can you give me an example of a law that we should have that
is not specific to one religion?
Yeah.
How about thou shalt not kill? Don't kill people. That's not specific to one religion?
That's specific to all religions.
Exactly. That's my point. So everyone can agree on it.
Okay.
Like only enforce the laws that everyone will agree on, right?
Okay. Here's the problem now. Okay, when we kill someone, what happens? Say if someone kills someone, what should happen then?
We should have an agreed punishment that, if they are found guilty, will be enforced. Okay,
what's the suitable punishment? Okay, first of all, there's two problems. Actually, no, there's three problems. First of all, the one who's being murdered, their family is going to be in distress. How do we deal with them? That's firstly. Secondly, how do we deal with this person and what should be the appropriate punishment. Okay. Thirdly, the one who is murdered, their family is also going to be in distress, and how should we deal with that?
I think that should be decided upon, like, democratically.
No, it's way too. I mean, like, who are you gonna go? Like, who are you gonna go to the entire country? Like, oh yeah, every time something happens, oh yeah, vote.
No. When you're trying to come up with a set of rules, you like outline them, and then if people disagree, they can vote to veto. That's generally
Yeah, but then that's problematic because it's only in one scenario.
What do you mean? That's kind of what we do already. Like if you can show a precedence in a law, like if someone has committed a specific crime, and there have been several cases where they've not been punished for it, that sets a precedent, and other people can use that. Like that's what we do.
I'm asking, what would you think the appropriate thing would be to do?
I'm not sure. I haven't really thought that much about exactly what laws I would instantiate.
Okay, so I mean, here's the thing. Let's just say that murder was accidental.
So manslaughter.
But let's just say no one that it was manslaughter, and that there's no evidence. What should we do then? Like, can you see like
if there's no evidence, we shouldn't do anything. Like we should be cautious. It should be noted that it seems as though this person is a suspect, but if we can't conclusively prove it, we should not do anything about it in case it is not accurate.
Okay, well, look. The thing is, Islam just gives you a straight answer on what to do.
Yeah, but not everyone agrees that is the correct answer, and that's why it creates problems.
Okay. Can you give me an Islamic law? Can you give me an Islamic law which everyone doesn't agree on, please?
I'm not sure what the exact law is, but the thing with the burqa, a lot of countries don't agree with that.
The burqa?
Yeah.
That's not a law.
I don't know. Like, I'm not familiar with Islamic law. That's what I've been saying the whole time.
Okay, so like if you're not familiar, like what standpoint are you?
I'm saying that like any Islamic laws that are common between all religions should be enforced as a like communal law.
But here's the thing, man. I know atheistic point of views and understandings, and I understand secularism. But the thing is, you don't understand like the Islamic laws and what Islamic theocrats believe in, and so like due to that, we can't really have a healthy discussion. Otherwise, it won't be good in any way, shape, or form because then you can't give me a law which you disagree with in Islam. No,
but I'm disagreeing with the idea of theocracy. It's not specifically Islam.
Okay, well, as I said, I disagree with theocracy about other religions apart from Islam. That's my position.
Well, that's not really pro-theocracy as much as it is just pro-Islam.
I can't. There's really no other thing So, like, I stand for Islamic theocracy. Definitely, yes. It's Sharia law. Put it that way.
Yeah. So you're not arguing for theocracy. You're specifically arguing for Sharia law.
Yeah.
Is that
precisely?
Well, I think that if there are parts of Sharia law that we can all agree upon, then they can be enforced. But if we don't agree on it, it should not be enforced legally.
Okay. So, is there any Sharia laws that you?
I'm not familiar with Sharia law. I said that several times.
Okay. So there's really no point of discussing them. I'll tell you what, man. Like, I'll give you a week or so.
No, we don't have to have specific examples though. Like, it's the general idea, right? Like,
no.
If everyone agrees with like the rules of Sharia law, then it's not necessarily that we're agreeing with Sharia law. It's that we're agreeing with the rules. And if we think that those rules are fair, and we think that they should be enforced, then we can start enforcing them. But we have to like at least have some consensus on what is and isn't acceptable, and that shouldn't necessarily be drawn from religion.
Okay, so like, bro, like here's the thing. In order to have a really healthy debate and where we could both understand each other, and as Matt said as well, like he actually said something interesting, and he said that the whole point of a debate is actually not to win a debate, rather it's to come to an agreement, okay?
Yeah, that's what...
Which I agree with, but here's the problem. If you don't know about the Islamic understanding, then it's kind of hard to come to an agreement in the first place. So I'll tell you what, like, don't take it to any offense. We'll definitely have a more healthy discussion. If you want, I'll give you like around about 2 weeks or so. You could do a bit more research into the Sharia law. You can get a general idea of it. You don't have to know everything, obviously, otherwise that'd be extremely hectic. But just get a general idea of it, and we will definitely
But
discuss.
no. You're missing my point there. Like, I'm not disagreeing with Sharia law specifically. I'm saying that even if the laws that you derive exactly match Sharia law, the reason it should be enforced is not because it's like you were told to do it by God. It's because there is a consensus that this set of rules would be beneficial for our civilization. That's why it should be enforced.
Well, like, here's the thing, okay? God gave us the ability to think for ourselves, right? And so morality, God gave us in our head in the first place. But look, if we carry on like this, it's going to turn into like a theological debate, which I'm not for. And
I don't really see why it has to just dip into a specific theology. Like,
it's
like
theology.
my issue again is not the specific laws of Sharia law.
No,
It's
I
the
know,
fact
I know,
that
I
the reason
understand
it's
that.
enforced is because
Well,
it comes from God.
Okay. Here's the thing. Like I said, if we go into this now, it will go into theology, and it will talk about. My point is, I'll tell you what my point is that God gave us free will. He gave us a brain to understand with, and he gave us a sense of morality, and that's how we understand things. Okay. Your point is well, I'm assuming, by the way, so please don't take me for what I'm saying is correct. But what I guess is that you, as an atheistic point of view, from what I know, is that rationality tells us otherwise.
To an extent, I suppose. Like, what I'm really saying though is that, like,
Yeah,
the laws are a good idea, but where they are derived from is also important.
but I mean,
They need to be agreed upon.
Yeah, but my point is that God gave us rationality in the first place, but I'm not really interested in that at the moment. So I'm kind of tired as well, man. I was up for like a general thing now. So it was a nice discussion with you. I think you're very respectful to the person to speak to. And
no, it's good to talk to you too.
And
Thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and join us in the Nameless Debates Discord. We hope to see you there.